सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणे विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं वादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ॐ शङ्कराचार्यं केशवपादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यां सामगाः नानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यां योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुस्तुरासुरगणाः देवाय नमः श्रीमययतीशस्य वन्दे तपोवनं तं हिमवद्विभूतिमयि ज्ञानवैराग्यरूपिणं समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् Hari Om to everyone else. Yesterday's some portion was remaining to tell. Because of the poor internet network, I couldn't finish. Please allow me to tell something important. Most of us do not even know that we are bound. We complacently accept our state of sorrow and finitude as natural phenomena. We even try to philosophize it by saying, in life, sometimes there is brightness and sometimes darkness. We sometimes philosophize it. The great Indian freedom fighter, Lokmanya Tilak, once told, first had to make the Indians aware that they were not free and that they could be free from foreign rule and govern themselves. Only then would they think about how to go about it. Due to the grace of the Lord, merits of previous births, a shock in one's life or intelligent living, and an alert, inquiring mind, one starts questioning one's present state of bondage and then desires freedom from it. Those who do good works in this world and help others, but with an eye to reward, hoping to reach heaven or to get the praise of their fellow men, must, when they die, reap the benefit of those good works. They become these gods like that. But that is not salvation, that is not liberation, that is not moksha. Salvation never will come through hope of reward. Whatever man desires, the Lord gives him. Just think. We sometimes cry that we have lost this, we did not get, we thought like that. Start making note instead of lamenting. Please make a note that what you have got in your life. Men desire power, they desire prestige, they desire enjoyments as gods, and they get these desires fulfilled, but no effect to work can be eternal. If the source is mortal, if the cause is mortal, the effect cannot be mortal, cannot be eternal. The effect will be exhausted after a certain length of time. It may be today or after a long time, it will be gone. And these gods must come down again and become men or women and get another chance for liberation. Why I am telling? I'm just clarifying it to the Westerners who are attending this class, that our Veda promises mainly the reward or a better life after death. That is why a lot of rituals are mentioned in the Veda. They promises that he will be this God, that God. If you perform these rituals perfectly in this very life. But you know, it's very difficult to perform any rituals without any imperfectness. Sometimes mind goes here and there. Sometimes we can't collect the necessary things. It's very difficult. Yet there is at the end pardon, begging pardon mantras or hymns. Suppose one person have performed everything else with 100% perfectness, though it is not possible. But for the logic, putting the logic, we are saying that yes, he or she has performed. So according to Vedas, according to the Vedas, holy Vedas promise, after death, they go to the heaven or to the higher loka. The thing, our Veda never promise eternal or eternity of those pleasurous life. According to the Veda, by good deeds we earn our merits, which is called punyam. And according to our bad deeds, we earn sins. That is papa. Maybe our modern world can't believe in papam and punyam. Think yourself. In this life, whatever you have got, in maximum case, you were not responsible. Whenever you are rewarded a lot, maybe you know that you did very negligible thing, but you got the reward a lot. Sometimes we did a lot of things, but people didn't accept it, appreciate it, acknowledge it. Then when we try to calculate why it happens, we go in vain. The only answer is the whole life is the summary of the merits and the sins gained by me, performed by me only. So if anyone becomes gods or goddesses after doing a lot of good deeds, according to Veda, first please understand, I did a lot of good things, but who has measured that goodness? Does he have the authority to measure? Veda has that authority. So according to Veda, if we do the good deeds, not according to us, that we have done a lot of work, lot of relief work, went to Amphan, relief, did a lot of struggles. Is it according to Veda or not? If it is, then it counts as merits. कर्म कांड में यही आश्चर्य है. If the work is according to the Veda, then only the question of merits. Then what about sin? Apart from everything is sin, will be considered as that mumukshutvam, that intense longing for liberation, is of 4 types. First one is atimanda, very dull. If I get that sort of mentality or that sort of people who are having this state of mind, very dull intensity for liberation, how they talk? They say, if we get liberated, well and good, otherwise better luck next life. Banata banata bani jai. This type cannot be said to possess true mumukshutvam. Then manda, dull. They say, I must seek liberation or truth after I retire, or after all my worldly responsibilities are over. That day never comes. I know some persons, I am giving you one example, believe me. The person was very pious, very devoted. Devoted to the Lord and devoted to the samsara also. He purchased a lot of books on Veda and Vedanta and other religious scriptures. The maximum of his earning he spent in purchasing the books. Believe me, he did not study. I used to ask him, when will you study? See, where is my work time? I'm so busy in all those things. I have planned my life. I will retire, then I will not do anything else, and I will study. You know what happens? Yes, after retirement, he got time. But he did not have that much of strength to study. You know, people think that why have you become monk in this very young age? When I left home at the age of 18, my guru scolded them when he heard. In Subhasitani, there is a sloka. Ajaramaravat pragyam vidyamarthancha chintayet grihita eva kesheshu mrityuna dharmamacharit. Whenever the question comes of earning money and learning something, never consider your age. Consider yourself as immortal. Because, people lose their faith, their strength that, oh, now I'm 60, now I'm 70, now I'm 80, like that. Suppose a person of 60 and thought the whole life I have studied because I was a professor in a college. So I had to study before teaching. How much I will study? And it's very difficult. Enough is enough. So if that person lives for 100 years, just think, the last 40 years that person has stopped studying, not got any energy. And if the person stops learning, he is more than dead. That is why ajaramaravat pragyam vidyam arthancha chintayet. Whenever the factor comes for learning and earning, do till your last breath. But the contradictory line is the second line. Grihita ivakesheshu mrityuna dharmanucharet. Whenever the question comes about dharmacharan, performing dharma, performing spirituality, always think the next moment I may die. In my life, 60 years may not come. If I plan myself that after my 60 years of age, I will perform all those things, that day may not come. So regarding good deeds, never plan for future. What you thinking for tomorrow, do it today. What you are planning to do today, please do it now. Then mumukshutvam, third kind, is madhyama, mediocre. They say, I must get liberated as soon as possible. The sooner, the better. And then comes Tivra Vairagya, Tivra Mukshutvam, strong intensity, strong longing, single pointedness. Once a student asked his guru, how is it? I can't imagine. Guru told, I will reply you in time. One day, Guru went for a holy dip to river Ganga with all his disciples. They were swimming, they are dipping themselves like that. Suddenly, what happened? Guru hold the neck of that student and just drown him into the water. And he couldn't breathe. But Guru did not leave. And the person started, anything. After a long time, Guru just picked him up, then again drowned, again picked him up, again. Finally, Guru left. And the students were very annoyed. Why were you doing that? Guru asked, How did you feel? The student replied, I was at the gateway of the death. So painful. And Guru asked, and I was thinking, when I will breathe. That intense desire, longing for breathing. Guru replied, that intensity is needed for a student, for a seeker, for liberation. I want freedom from bondage here and now. The intensity of such a desire is like that of the man who seeks air when he is drowning, or seeks water when his clothes are on fire. One with strong mumukshutvam, strong intensity for liberation, reaches the goal. But all other qualities also accrue to him. In Viveka Chudamani, 3 slokas are very interesting and very relevant with here. Manda madhyama rupani vairagyena samadina prasadena gurasyam pravriddha suyate phalam. Actually, Acharya is giving us the hope that if our mumukshuta, if our intensity for liberation is mediocre also, a little lower also, but if anyone has enough vairagya, enough dispassion for the concept of worldly objects, or all the happiness comes from the worldly objects, and if anyone has that 6-fold qualification, Shamadhi, 6-fold inner wealth, Shamadhi Shakta Sampatti, by the grace of the Acharya or Guru, that person becomes successful. Viveka Chudamani says. Another sloka, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is saying, Vairagyam cha mumukshutvam tivram yasya tu vidyate tasminnevarthavantasyuhu phalavantashamadayah. The one whose dispassion and longing for liberation is very intense, in that person only Shama and Dhamma, and that Shama means controlling of mind, controlling and senses, and all the 6 inner quality becomes successful. Means, if I have controlled my mind, I have controlled my senses, I am having inner qualities 6-folds, but I have no dispassion, still I seek happiness from the world, from the worldly object, those qualities are in vain. And if I don't have that intense longing for liberation, if I am full with that qualities, everything will go in vain. Then another sloka is there. Etayor mandata yatra viraktvam mumukshayoho Marau salilavat tatra shamadehe bhasamatrata. Where there is shortage of dispassion for that thinking or the thought that world will give me pleasure, and where there is scarcity, abhava, of intense longing for liberation, there are all other qualities, controlling of senses, controlling and mind, and other qualities are like mirage water, mere imagination, nothing else. As the tortoise tucks its feet and head inside the shell, and you may kill it and break the shell in pieces, and yet it will not come out. Even so, the character of that man who has control over his motives and organs is unchangeably established. He controls his own inner forces, and nothing can draw them out against his will. But this continuous reflex of good thoughts, good impressions moving over the surface of the mind, the tendency for doing good becomes strong. And as the result, we feel able to control the senses, the nerve centers, indriyas. Thus alone will character be established. Then alone a man or woman gets to truth. Such a man or woman is safe forever. He or she cannot do any evil. You may place him or her in any company, any office. There will be no danger for him or her. There is still higher state than having this good tendency, and that is the desire for liberation. In Viveka Chudamani, sloka number 361, if you study, you will find very wonderful sloka is there. Ativa sukshmam paramatma tattvam na sthula drishtya pratipratum samadhinatyanta susukshma vritya ज्ञातव्यमायैरति शुद्ध बुद्धिभिः. Atma Tattva, this self-knowledge is ativa sukshma, very subtle. By the gross visions, sthula drishti ke dwara, it cannot be attained. So, Shubha Buddhi Mahamana, who are having that holy intellect, pure intellect, intelligent intellect, Samadhi Yukta Shuddha Buddhi में इस सत्य का अनुभव करते हैं. With that pure intellect which is full with the knowledge of the Vedantic truth, can experience, can attain that truth. In Sloka 362 it says, Yatha suvarnam putapaka shodhitam tyaktva malam swatma gunam samrichati tatha manasattva rajastamo malam dhyanena santyajya sameti tattvam. By the fire and that alkaline factor, when the raw form of gold leaves its all impurities, then the gold's intrinsic nature, the glitter, comes out automatically. Likewise, acquiring all those qualification and repeated meditation, when minds sattva, raja and tama, the three kinds of impurities, goes away, then the conditioned jiva, conditioned human being, attains its own intrinsic nature. Now that last portion of this theme, the last sloka, sloka number 14. Etat sadhana chatushtayam, etat sadhana chatushtayam, tatastatva vivekaha, tataha tattva vivekasya adhikarino bhavanti etat sadhan chatushtaya. Etat means this. Today in the Sanskrit class, I hope you will learn what is the meaning when we use etat and tat. When your all those jugglery will be started, Bhavataha nama kim, Bhavatyaha nama kim. So, etat, this sadhana chatushtayam, fourfold qualifications. Tataha, thereafter, tattva vivekasya, of inquiry into the truth. Adhikarinaha, fit, bhavanti, becomes. This is the fourfold qualification. Thereafter, they become fit for the inquiry into the truth. Now we are ready, pramata. My body, my sense organs, my mind, my intellect are ready to get for conducting inquiry for truth. The text started with the question, why will we study Vedanta? We have tried a lot to come out from our sense of finitude. We have changed a lot of situations. We have changed a lot of persons. We have changed a lot of furniture. and so many things that I don't know, you know better than me, that what you have changed in life to get rid of sense of finitude without knowing. Just try to change the situation. We have performed a lot of dharma to acquire artha or wealth, to fulfill kama, desires. Nothing happened. So we came to the conclusion that our ignorance of my infinitude is the problem. The mind which is prepared with the unfold, with the fourfold qualifications, it is not fit to inquire into the truth, never happens. It is fit to inquire into the truth. Because a prepared mind inquires naturally and spontaneously. No extra effort is required. That mind that is forced into thinking will not inquire wholeheartedly, and therefore not reach the truth. If the mind is unprepared, not qualified with the viveka vairagya, discrimination, dispassion, controlling of mind, controlling of senses, if there is shortage of faith, shortage of forbearance, shortage of strength to withdraw our mind from the non-conducive object or person or event, then even if one listens to spiritual knowledge for last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, people come and say, you know, Swamiji, I have heard Gurudev. 40 years I am coming and listening to the discourses. I will not tell anything else. I will make a full stop. You know better than me. It may seem theoretical and abstract, even if one appreciates it. One will not be able to reflect on it or abide in it. In Vedanta Sara, there is very beautiful slokas are there. One I will quote. Evam bhutaha pramata adhikari shanto dantaha iti srutehe uktam cha prashanta chittaya jitendriyaya cha prakshina doshaya yathoktakarine गुणान्वितायानुगताय सर्वदा प्रदेयमेतत् सकलं मुमुक्षवे. First one, Shanta Dantaha. It's from Brihadaranya Upanishad, 4.4.23. And the last portion I quoted from, means that quotation is from Upadesha Sahasri, sloka number 324, And 16th chapter means 16th chapter 72, because you may have Upadesha Sahasri, not Upadesha Sara, that is composed by Ramana Maharshi. Upadesha Sahasri is composed by Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji. So 16th chapter 72 sloka. So now he is telling that as it is told in the Veda, he is the right qualified person who is Shanta, Danta, means controlled mind, controlled senses, Uparataha, verily perfect and eligible to withdraw his or her mind from the non-conducive thing or event, Titikshavan, who is really having that quality of forbearance, everything with the smiling face and smiling mind. Ekagra Chitta, whose mind is fully concentrated. That person realizes these Atma Tattva, realizes that self. In Smriti Grantha, it is told Shanta Danta Kshina Papa, whose amount of sins are very less. Nirmala Chitta, who is very purified in mind. Kamadi Tyagi and Nitya Karmanushthanakari, who performs all the rituals prescribed in the Veda, who has left his desires. I don't explain it, I have explained enough about that. And Viveka Vairagya Adi Guna Yukta, who is enough qualified with the discriminating faculty. Sarvada Guru Anugata, always too much obedient to his own master, who is mokshakami, who is intense desirer for liberation. A real master will preach and teach that student. In Amrita Tika, it is told that Shanta Danta Uparati Titikshu Samahitaha Bhutva Atmanyevatmanam Pashyet. In that way, that Kanva branch of Brihadaranyaka, it is told, Kanva Shakha of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is told, Shanto Dantaha Uparati Stitikshu Samahitaha Samahitaha Bhutva Atmanyeva Atmani Eva Atmanam Pashyet. He only sees the self in the world and world in the self. What a beautiful concept. But in the Madhvandini Shakha of Brihadaranyaka, it is told Shraddhavitva Bhutva. That Shraddha and Samadhanam, that quality of meditation is also required. That is why in Gita, Bhagavan Krishna also has told about Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. I think you have not noticed it. Whoever else have read Gita or heard Gita, listened to Gita, they have also not noticed that 6 inner qualification, Shamadama Uparati Titiksha Samadhana Shraddha. In Gita I will mention 6th chapter 3rd sloka. Yoga rudhasya tasyaiva samah karanam uchyate. Yoga rudhasya tasyaiva samah karanam uchyate. In this Vakya, Shama has been indicated, controlling of mind. In second chapter, 58 sloka, Yada Samharate Chayam, Kurvanganiva, that sloka, there Bhagavan indicated Dhamma. Sarva dharman parityajyam mamekam sharanam braja. Here Bhagavan has indicated uparati, that withdrawal quality. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha, second chapter 14th sloka. There Bhagavan has indicated titiksha, the forbearance. Samadha vachala buddhi, second chapter 53 sloka. There Bhagavan has indicated about samadhi. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, fourth chapter 39th sloka. There Bhagavan has indicated the faculty of Shraddha, faith in his own master and scripture. In all scripture it is there. In this way, we have studied the characteristics of spiritual aspirant who is fit for the path of knowledge. He or she practices the fourfold injunctions which we have discussed before. And those injunctions are discrimination between the eternal and the ephemeral. Second, this passion for enjoyments here and elsewhere. Third, sense control, mind control, concentration. Then sixfold, sense control, mind control, concentration, forbearance, self-awareness, and faith in teacher and scriptures. And the last one of the fourfold qualifications, hankering for liberation. When a person has all these qualities, he or she becomes a fit aspirant, a competent adhikari, eligible candidate to know Brahman. The gist of the whole thing is this: one who wishes to know the truth should be qualified for it. To be qualified for it means to be pure. To be pure means one has to follow some prescriptions. Following them, by following them, the aspirant becomes freed from the dirt accumulated through many lives. This makes him ready for knowledge. One word from the able teacher about the truth will come and the student becomes illumined or illumined. Swami Vivekananda remarks once, only the path of jnana, that the path of knowledge, is of quick fruition and the rationale of all other creeds. Hence, it is equally esteemed in all countries and all ages. But even in the path of discrimination, there is the chance of the mind getting stuck in the interminable net of vain argumentation. Therefore, along with it, meditation should be practiced. By means of discrimination and meditation, the goal or the Brahman has to be reached. One is sure to reach the goal by practicing in this way. If you go through Swami Vivekananda's complete works, it is there in volume 7, page number 198. So I am just recapitulating in 1 minute, in one nutshell. First one, here is a person of the world. He or she doesn't know why he is suffering. Even though he seeks joy, pain, misery, diseases, death, and so on pester him. He wants to escape from them. The second, someone tells him, the second point of recapitulation. Someone tells him about religion or spirituality, dharma. This person thinks that he would follow it. He reads books concerning religion and spirituality. Then third point of recapitulation, he comes to know that he has to become pure first, free from all likes and dislikes and anger and greed and everything. Chittamalam. For this, he has to perform good deeds, avoid bad deeds, control his senses and mind, meditate on God, pray, worship, and endure everything. The fourth point of recapitulation, he does all this for years and gradually is unable to remain the way he is. His heart pants for something higher. Thus, he has become a seeker of liberation. Swasti prajavyah paripalayantam न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गो ब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय आविराविर्मयेधि ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. We will meet again at 11 o'clock.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari
And
Om. Hari Om.
my request to everyone else,
Hari Om
as
Swamiji.
you, Hari Om Amma, as you maintain the discipline over here, please do the same at 11 o'clock. Otherwise, you will lose the thing. Keep a time for interaction. I know it's a new subject and very, very interesting. So we like to talk in between. But Shama and Dhamma should be practiced at each and every step of our life. And please bear with us. Here our internet network is very, very poor. We don't have any Wi-Fi. We only conduct a class with our mobile data. And I asked several persons yesterday that yesterday's internet network was very poor everywhere. So if anything happens in the internet which is not in our hand, it's my humble request to you, please bear with us. We will meet again at 11 o'clock. Inform your all friends and family members who are interested to join this class. Hari Om Tat Sat.